Welcome back to the deep dive. So we're kind of wrapping up our look on the special programs here at the African Group of Negotiators Expert Support.
That's right.
We've already touched on adaptation, which is huge, and then the ocean, marine, and blue economy work.
Yes, and these are very critical pieces of work in the climate space.
Absolutely. So today we're looking at, well, maybe the engine behind a lot of the future work, the special program on climate change and artificial intelligence.
Yeah, exactly. Our whole mission here, it's about supporting climate action, making it faster, more effective, using the best technology we can get our hands on,
And AI is really stepping up.
It's becoming genuinely transformative, especially, when we look at building climate models, prediction models. We are heavily using machine learning and specifically large language models, LLMs.
Okay, LLMs. Before we jump into the actual tools you've built, maybe just quickly for listeners not super deep in the tech side, what's an LLM actually doing here, eh? Is it just like reading and summarizing?
It goes quite a bit further than that, you see. Actually, think of these LLMs as being trained to see patterns, to synthesize just massive amounts of information. We're talking millions, billions of words sometimes, eh?
Wow. Okay.
And they draw out connections, nuances, you see. It really changes the game for how quickly we can process, say, dense scientific reports or complex budget documents and just pull out what's actionable.
Right? Actionable insight. Okay, let's talk tools then. First big challenge, making sense of the science, especially the ITCC reports. They're incredibly dense, How are you helping bridge that gap for policymakers?
That's precisely where the IPCC SPM generator comes in. It's designed to summarize all those highly technical reports from the IPCC, and give further insights.
The really long reports, eh?
Yes, the really long ones. And using continuous LLM training, it distills the core findings into shorter, much simpler paragraphs, you see. The key is it mimics the structure of the official summary for policymakers.
So it feels familiar to them, eh?
Exactly. It makes that complex science immediately accessible for people who need to make informed decisions,
Okay, that handles the high-level science. What about accountability in climate action? Tracking the money, the actual implementation on the ground?
For that, we developed the Climate Monitoring and Accountability Tool. Think of it as a monitoring system, specifically with parliamentarians in mind. Its job, you see, is to track budget allocations for climate projects and, crucially, their implementation. It uses those powerful LLMs to wade through these enormous, often complex national budget documents.
Interesting, eh?
And compute exactly how much is allocated to specific climate actions, even when it's buried deep inside.
And you mentioned the tool for Zambia is done, ready to go?
Yes, completed and ready for handover.
That's fantastic. What was the biggest sort of hurdle in getting the LLMs to accurately track those budget lines?
Probably the sheer volume, and sometimes the, let's say, inconsistency in how governments report things. But getting a system that can map budget promises to actual delivery, that's a huge step.
Definitely. And then there's a tool specifically for the negotiators themselves, right at the global level?
Yes. The LLM for negotiators, you see. This one is designed to digest, basically, the entire history of UNFCCC decision texts. Thousands and thousands of pages, my friend.
Right? Tell us more.
Based on what the user asks, a specific question, it produces trace-linked briefs. They can see exactly where the information came from in the original texts,
Oh, that must be a massive time saver. Almost like having an instant research assistant who's read everything. Which areas is it trained on right now?
That must be a massive time saver. almost like having an instant research assistant who's read, well, everything. Which areas is it trained on? Right now?
Makes sense?
And we're actively working on adding more. Adaptation is a big one coming up. We're planning to launch an updated version with more sectors later this year.
That's quite a suite of AI-powered tools. But as you said, this isn't happening in isolation. These build on work the AGNES was already doing, right? They are decision support tools, the DSTUs.
Absolutely. These new AI tools are, well, they are the cutting edge, but they stand on a really solid foundation. We have other essential decision support tools developed earlier, you see, that provide vital support. These ones don't have the AI functionality, but they're crucial.
Good point there. It shows the breadth of support, like the NDC capacity scorecard that tracks how well countries are set up to develop and implement their climate plans, their NDCs.
Exactly. Assessing that capacity, that's fundamental.
And there's, well, to the monitoring, evaluation, reporting, and learning tool. I remember that's a web-based tool for tracking climate projects into the mind of what they learned to do and shared.
That's right. Piloted in Vihiga and Makueni counties. It's about tracking progress, you see, and learning from it at the project level before scaling up.
And finally, the gender hotspots maps. That sounds interesting.
It is. It came out of a study we did in 5 countries: Rwanda, Kenya, Uganda, Botswana, and Ghana. The maps, they visually show how climate shocks impact men and women differently in various regions. It brings a vital social equity lens to the data, you see.
Okay, so when you put it all together, these new AI tools like the SPM generator and CMAT, alongside the established DSTs like MERL and the NDC capacity scorecard, what does that mean strategically from your perspective as the department head?
It means we're providing a comprehensive toolkit. We're equipping African negotiators and policymakers to really drive the agenda, not just react to it. We cover the spectrum from simplifying global science with the IPCC tool down to tracking local budgets and project impacts with CMAT and MERL.
So, it's about data-driven decisions, accountability.
Precisely. Data-driven, accountable, and making complex information accessible right when it's needed.
The speed at which this AI is moving is just incredible. So, here's a final thought. Something for you, our listener, to consider. Given how quickly these LMs are evolving, think about the IPCC generator. What previously intractable climate challenge, or maybe a really complex decision, might suddenly look very different, perhaps even solvable next year, because of tools like this? Something to mull over as we see this technology roll out. If you wish to interact with some of our tools, find links in the description. Thank you for listening.